Welcome back to Parenting in a Snap. Today I want to talk a little bit about picky eaters. I guess I get this in my practice a fair amount of time where parents are concerned about having picky eaters, concerned about their kiddos' nutrition and that sort of thing. I can speak to this personally and professionally as I am the parent of a formerly picky eater. I would say nearly fully recovered picky eater. He's 14 now and a whole lot better than he used to be in terms of his food choices. So I share that with you to let you know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel here with picky eating. So let's see what we can come up with here. A couple of ideas. Probably one of the most important things to do when you have a picky eater is to avoid power struggles around food. This is like many other things in that the more you charge an issue, the worse it becomes and the more difficult it is to deal with at times in the long run. So I often will tell parents with this and other issues, you know, if you can take the cool as a cucumber approach, no pun intended there because we're talking about food, but that idea that it's not pushing your buttons. Because again, the more kiddos realize that it's a big deal for you and that, you know, with some kids especially, they're going to stand their ground that much more. So if you can just not let it become a head-to-head match, I'm not a real fan of, staying at the table for an hour and a half until you eat that last bit of broccoli. So again, you can choose if you want to do that, but I don't think that in the long run it helps a whole lot. Another thing that I would suggest is this idea of when you're continuing to offer good, healthy food choices from a variety of food groups, I would suggest that you could do this idea of the no thank you bite. Or bites. What you might encourage is at least one bite, or if you can get 3 bites out of them, that'd be great. Because sometimes you can talk about, you know, there's the hello bite, the okay, I'm tasting you bite, and then there's the okay, goodbye bite, goodbye broccoli, I'm not crazy about you bite. But sometimes after they've had that first bite, they might actually realize that it's something that's not so bad that they might consider trying. You can also try to offer foods in different fashions, that is like cooked carrots versus raw carrots. Some kiddos might really refuse the cooked carrots, but they'd be okay with raw carrots. And a carrot is carrot, right? So if we can get them to eat it, that's a great thing. Another thing that I might suggest is that you generally make one meal. You're not running a diner and you're not a short order cook. And so you don't want to end up making 2 or 3 different meals every time you're going to try to feed the family. So that means that, if it's a case where they're just really not going to eat and they're consistently not eating meal after meal and you're concerned about that, you can offer to make something else for them, I would say, but it's going to be something that's very minimal, basic, unappealing, no flambe here, okay? Nothing fancy. So that means that if you've made a nice meal for the rest of the family and they're refusing, they could end up with a peanut butter sandwich or something like that. Even better is if they make it themselves. Again, it's not punitive, it's not a big deal, but you're letting them know that I'm not going to make this second meal for you. And that's an okay thing to do. I was once told by a pediatrician to look at the course of the week's diet rather than a meal by meal or a day by day. So I'm not a medical professional and I'm not a pediatrician. So I'm a psychotherapist. So little disclaimer there, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just reporting what was reported to me, that you look at the big picture so that you don't get so focused on, oh no, he didn't eat, this one meal. Well, part of what may happen is that he gets a little hungry, and so he's more likely to eat the next meal that's prepared. So that's an okay approach to take with the picky eater. I think that another thing that's helpful is if you can, again, de-emphasize this food thing so much, and focus more on the dinner time experience. Focus on conversation, togetherness, sharing stories about the day, that sort of thing, rather than, we're going to sit here until you finish this or something like that. So just probably a lot more pleasant for everybody, and probably a better outcome, I'm guessing. And then finally, I guess one thing I would suggest is that you just continue to have faith that it can get better. Kids' tastes change over time. They do improve. I know there are lots of other sites and blogs and things where you can get some ideas about how to feed your children and involve them in the process. And I would recommend all of that. Okay, whatever works. But the overarching thing is to don't lose faith. That it can get better, because I am telling you, it absolutely can get better. We are proof positive of that. So, good luck with those picky eaters that you have, and we'll see you back here next time.